Welcome to Greenable Woodbridge. I am your host, Carolyn Ehrlich, and today we're talking to two people whom I work with every single day. We have Heather LaMotta, who is the Deputy Redevelopment Agency Director, and Tom Flynn, who he should have about 10 titles, but today I'm going to refer to him as the Certified Flood Manager. And we have, as you can see in the background, today's topic is the marina in Seawarren. And this is what it looks like today. And we have a beautiful vision for tomorrow. And that's what our topic is, to see what's going to happen down at the marina. So first of all, how did this idea start?
The idea started when we heard a rumor that Captain Hook's Marina was going up for sale. We went down there and we thought it would be a great complement to our existing marina. Mm-hmm. So we spoke with the owner of Captain Hook's at length and for a long period of time came up with a pretty fair price and looked to acquire the property. And then once we acquired that property, there was no way we couldn't clean up another piece that had been in a state of disrepair mm-hmm. for a long period of time.
Right, never really got fixed since Superstorm Sandy.
Since Superstorm Sandy, and even before that,
right.
Apparently had been left neglected. Mm-hmm. So it's just the perfect complement moving forward
right.
For our vision.
So as we look at the backdrop here, it looks like all of our slips are filled. So we do need to expand. How much will we be doing?
We're hoping the concept at this point is about 88 slips and additional dock and dine slips for possibly a restaurant and tiki bar that we feel that the area could accommodate and would do very well.
Be a destination for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what about, let's just move over a little bit to the dog park, because I know that's part of this whole project. What's happening there?
We have a very successful dog park. Our residents love the dog park. We have a small dog area and a larger dog area. So we are going to improve that whole site with more athletic equipment for the animals, perhaps some seating for the owners.
That would be nice.
Improved lighting, improved seating, improved parking. It's all part of the plan moving forward.
Right, and as we're talking about all of these slips and a restaurant and ice cream, are we going to have enough parking there?
We're going to have ample parking. We're actually taking another area and clearing it, which in the winter will serve as boat storage. And in the summertime, it'll be overflow parking. So we'll have over 300 parking spaces when it's all said and done.
So I was just going to ask about what services we're going to be offering to the people who are going to be using
we'll be
the
a full functioning marina. Boat wrapping, painting, minor repairs, installing and removal from the slips themselves. So we're going to be a full working marina.
That is fantastic. And we have, so you can't just do a marina. We actually have engineers and architects working with us. Do you guys want to talk about the role they're playing?
Sure. So these, right, so this is a water dependent use, right? So, everything in mind is in relation to how people and infrastructure is going to function effectively and efficiently and environmentally friendly with the surrounding water body. So we have a great team that's been studying the area for a long, long time. So we know, obviously it is a floodplain, right? So we are working in a floodplain wisely, right? So the areas that we know that are at most high risk, we're going to be, using for parking, advancements in stormwater management. So, not putting people in harm's way, right? So. One of the coolest things I think about the area, right, is looking back at the history of how it really all began, right? In the late 1800s, early 1900s, Boynton Beach was a coastal retreat, right?
Yes.
So, it's such an interesting story that, before the automobile, people paddled out there and it was a beautiful dance hall pavilion. And we're, reinvigorating that energy and that innovation back into the waterfront, right? So, we're doing that with wise floodplain management in mind. So Heather had mentioned, the concepts of, just different restaurants and things of that nature, and floodproofing is in every conversation. We talk about being way up above the most stringent base flood elevation by upwards of 1 to 2 feet. So we're doing it wisely, and we want to keep thinking about less monuments and more mitigation, right? We don't want to come back after another Sandy and say, what could we have done different? We want to plan for it now.
I like that. I like that. And even when we talk about the restaurant, we can't have air conditioning units or heating units down on the ground level because then they would flood. So you have to put it up on the roof, correct?
Correct, yep, so they'll be up.
And what are some of the other things that we have to be aware of?
Right, so with the parking, right, so the lowest portion of the facility and the site itself, so we want to make sure is only used for parking, building access, storage, things that, if it floods, when it floods, right, because unfortunately it happens, right? We're right next to the water. We protect people and we protect the infrastructure in the best way possible.
Very, very good. And we're going to have to do a lot of work around the area, cleaning it up, not just the ground contamination, and the water, right?
We're going to start with dredging. We're going to dredge.
Do you want to explain what dredging is?
Dredging is to actually create more depth, and so we have more accessibility for bigger boats. We're also going to add new bulkheading, new pylons. We're going to make the whole system will be new, and it'll be clean and environmentally friendly, because right now part of it is laying in the water itself, which is only going to pollute the water more.
Right, exactly.
So we want to keep the contaminated soils from sliding into the water.
Oh my God, that's so important. Absolutely. Tom, you want to add on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and now we have beautiful imagery around us, right? But there's, as Heather mentioned, part of the bulkheads are collapsing, right? So what are we doing in addition to the bulkheads, right? We're thinking outside the box of these innovative techniques to prevent erosion for the future, right? So we're thinking about how can we best incorporate living shorelines and nature-based solutions and ways that we work with nature and with the environment that we have, rather than continue to construct right on the shoreline and continue to see these things collapse over time.
So what are we doing there?
So we're thinking about a living shoreline, right?
This is so exciting.
It really is, and it's a way for it's a perfect spot for it. It's a pilot project. But we're thinking about ways to mitigate mild boat wakes, because we expect boat wakes, right? So we're going to kind of stunt out that nearshore erosion and then allow for sediment to accumulate behind that. So really what that means is we're trying to reduce the effects of erosion over time while providing for this ecological uplift, right? So for fishery habitat and birds to really just be able to come back to the area and to use that shoreline in its most environmentally sensitive way.
That is so interesting. And back when we started talking about this, you talked about what they did down, I think, down the shore.
Sure, yeah.
With shells, and the veterans were doing a project.
Yeah,
Share
so
that with us.
there's so many cool ways to do living shorelines, right? And these are engineered techniques, right? So we're going about it in a scientific way and through engineering parameters that were developed by Stevens Institute of Technology. And really what we're thinking about doing is, some kind of a oyster reef breakwater, right? So in this kind of capacity, it might be a little bit different. So shell bags have been used in the past. So shells are collected from restaurants, like perhaps our own. And then essentially they're placed in a strategic way along the shoreline to attenuate those shallow wakes from boats, and then behind those shell bags or core fiber logs or whatever type of device that you put in that nearshore habitat accretes sediment, right? And where that sediment lies, essentially during low and high tide lines, that's some of the most biologically diverse places on the planet, really, where land and water meet.
That's terrific. Now, are people going to have an opportunity to volunteer in putting this together?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like a Great Scout project or something for some of the classes.
Something
to come
for everyone.
down.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a lifelong learning experience, right? I mean, this is going to be something that folks can enjoy for a long time. It's going to really create beautiful aesthetics on the shoreline there, and just kind of work to the overall project, right? To bring back just ecotourism, people. a vibrant community back to
And
this.
just build up Cliff Road.
Right.
To I mean, what a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful homes. And I really think it will enhance the entire neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So,
Agreed.
so here we are talking about all this investment, dredging, and environmental, living shorelines. How are we funding this?
We have been lucky enough to receive county grants, $3 million for acquisition of properties, and another $1.5 million for renovation and construction. We're also looking into additional funding, so it's really not costing the township or taxpayers much at all. And they'll be
amazing.
able to reap the benefit of this beautiful project.
Very nice, very nice. Did you mention the mayor's idea of a fish market and ice cream?
We have not yet, but that is one of the ideas is to offer a fishery, a fish market, as well as an ice cream parlor, which both would be amazing enhancements to the area.
Right.
We always talk about the fish markets down the shore where people wait in line for an hour around the holidays. What would be more perfect than having one in our own town? And again, ice cream. Who doesn't love to walk by the water with an ice cream cone in their hand? I mean,
Yep.
I just think
Yep.
it's a great
Come off the
idea.
boat and that's
It's a
what you
home
wanna
run,
do.
absolutely.
One of my husband's favorite fishing stories was he went fishing and, as usual, caught nothing. So he went to a fish market and he brought home a whole load of dinner.
There you go. Absolutely. You can always go down that road too, just in case you don't catch
Just in
anything.
case, you're covered. You're right. Family's counting on you for dinner.
Exactly.
You will be able to get it. And tiki bar and restaurant.
Very exciting ideas. Again, we believe that the area would be really, it would be so great to have the northernmost tiki bar in the area. Our current concept is about 150 seats. So
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But I think that it would be a home run for the town. It would be an absolute home run.
And another one of the mayor's ideas, actually, it's all mayor's ideas, but being that it's right next to the dog park, this is going to be a dog-friendly environment with
Absolutely.
the restaurant, tiki bar, and
Absolutely.
all of that.
Absolutely. Dog-friendly is a very popular concept these days, and it would actually just, again, enhance, it would complement
Yes.
the entire area, that you could go with your dog to the dog park and then you can go and sit down and have a bite or have something to drink.
I heard there was a walking path, too.
There is going to be a walking path. There's going to be a brand new paved walking path surrounding the overflow parking. So it will have enhanced lighting, and you'll be able to see the dog park, you'll be able to see parts of the marina. It's really going to enhance the area.
Okay, now, jumping around on topics, but there's so much here to talk about. The two of you made a field trip down to the marina. Was that last week?
Yes.
And it was a once a year
Yep.
experience that you had. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. So last week, it's known as the king tides, right? So on a lunar schedule, it's the highest and lowest tides that you'll see each year. It was an interesting experience, right? So we wanted to see it at the lowest point. So we went at a very low tide, but you could also see the watermarks in the pilings, which were about 8 to 9 feet higher than the surface water at the time. So Heather had also seen it at high tide, which breached the bulkhead line, which is significant. So as we start to plan and think about these things, right? So Superstorm Sandy, the lower Woodbridge River reached an elevation over 12.5 feet. So, and that's your 1% annual chance storm, right?
Right.
And we saw it the year before in Irene, much different storm, not a coastal storm, but we are getting used to these, significant precipitation events. Whether or not we see a full-scale hurricane doesn't really matter anymore, right? So we're just trying to plan for those things we do know we see every year. We see these king tides every year. We see high tides every day, right?
And so much of our waterways are tidal,
Right.
correct? So
Correct,
these
yeah.
tides
Yep.
affect throughout the township, correct?
Right, so 7 out of the 10 towns in Woodbridge have special flood hazard areas. Not all of them are coastal floodplains or tidal, right? But there's over 3,000 acres of floodplains in the township. So when we think about, how the tides affect that, and just the ability to be able to plan that each year and to know and to educate the boating community, right? So we expect the boating community to grow and to people to be accessing the water in new ways, whether it's by kayak or stand-up paddleboard like myself. We want to make sure that folks understand that it's a great place to be on the water, but you have to be smart as well.
And we are going to do some education, I would imagine.
Right, absolutely.
Right. So we have a lot of planning to do. What is the timeline?
This is going to be an extensive project. It's going to take some time, several phases, but we are hoping our first phase will start in late fall, and we could do the dredging and the in-water work. And then we're hoping to have bulkheading and some of the environmental done over the winter, and we're hoping that the Tiki Bar will be open late next year, if at all possible.
We're definitely going to try for that.
We're going to try for that, for sure.
So one of the things that takes a while, and Tommy probably can refer to this, is we have to get permits for a lot of the work that we're doing, both in the water and on the land. And we have T&M Associates is making those applications, and then Heather, we also have an architect firm.
We do. The Vaughn Collaborative, Chip Vaughn and Warren Bonanno, and they've been amazing coming up with concepts. So we have a really great team that's trying to put this whole process together.
And to speak to that too, Heather, right? So and the team is so on point with regard to timing, right? So it was mentioned that we have upland permits, terrestrial permits, and in-water permits, right? So there's timing restrictions associated with that. We have to make sure that we do the right thing with regard to migratory fish passages and
there's a certain time of year when you can't do anything, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And to your point, Carolyn, right? So we will be working with the DEP. They've been excellent partners from the get-go, right? So they're aware of the project. They're really happy that it's going to be something that's going to enhance the overall aesthetics, but also the environmental. The overall terrestrial upland part and the marine part, right? So they want to see the project come to light in the right way as well, which is why we're going to be working with a variety of different partners on that end. So it's also the Army Corps. So the Army Corps is involved with permitting, the DEP, and a variety of different aspects in DEP. So the land use side is going to be a very good partner for us to make sure that we keep those lines of communication open throughout the entire project.
Right. And it's important when you're dealing with the DEP to have a good working relationship with them.
Absolutely.
And I think we're even going to get like a project manager.
Great.
That's going to help move it through the different silos, so to speak.
Good.
So it doesn't get stopped anywhere,
Right.
which would move it along a lot faster.
Right, yeah. And we've had those great pre-app meetings, right? So a pre-application meeting where everyone sits down at the table and kind of understands what we need to do, right? So there's tidelands involved, there's Army Corps involved, there's land use involved. So we'll make sure that we
Thankfully, we have such a good working relationship with them.
the DEP, they've always been good.
They've been very good
helpful
to us. Yes.
Yeah, with all of our development projects.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
Terrific. I should have mentioned this when we were talking about the funding, but we're also getting interest from smaller nonprofits, especially in the conservation area. They see what we're doing and they're all excited, and they are looking forward to giving us some funds. So I know that our grant writing team, of which you're a member, and are going to be very busy writing some more specific grants for some of the parts of this, like the living shoreline.
The dog park.
The dog park, yes.
Yep.
So hopefully, we're going to try to do this without any taxpayer money.
Absolutely.
And the open space money, it comes around. And, we all put into that fund, and now it comes back to us.
And we're also very lucky we have the county as such a close partner as well. being that their park is directly
Right there.
across.
Okay, so let's talk about the dream. And
dream.
we're hoping to convince the county, and I think we're getting closer, to buy into this dream. So anybody who lives in Seward, who has gone to Alvin P. Williams Park and has had to drive through PSE&G, or if you're going for the fireworks, you've had to, which are going to be here again this year. If you're going for the fireworks, you have to walk through the PSE&G. And what we would like to see, Heather?
We would love to have a walking bridge connecting our marina area with the park.
That would just be the icing on the cake.
It would be. It absolutely would be. It would create access. It would create flow. It would create just having a people feeling all the time. You would have that. It would just be in use.
Absolutely. Yep. And it would be great for safety too.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Yes.
just to keep the separation between the working areas, the industrialized areas, and where we want to have people access.
Exactly.
And if you think of, like, during the summer, the county has concerts down
Right.
there, they have shows down there.
Right.
So you come in from your boat, you have a bite to eat at the new restaurant, walk across the bridge, sit down, go to a concert, and then come back.
Right.
And it just makes for a really nice day.
It does.
And this is going to, once again, add to the quality of life for not just Seawarren residents, but all of our residents.
It brings life to the area.
Yep.
It would bring
Yeah.
life to the area. And
And-
it's a
and
beautiful,
a beautiful area.
A beautiful area.
Absolutely, absolutely. So any closing remarks?
So just on the note of the pedestrian bridge, right? That kind of brings to light the concept of complete streets and health, and just being able to have these social well-being projects,
Walkability.
right? And
Yep.
it's about so much more. And I hate to say just a marina because it's a beautiful idea and it's going to be a beautiful project, but it's about so much more than just boating and waterway access. It's about quality of life, right? And just these wonderful things that we've been working on for so long.
And lots of family
Right.
activities. I think
Exactly.
this is really focused on the family, and not just boaters,
No.
but
Right.
everybody will be able to come and use it.
Yes.
And enjoy the waterfront.
Right. So Heather, this has been, you've done, as a deputy director, you've done a few projects have been your baby, but this one is clearly your baby. How
This is my
do
baby.
you feel about it?
I'm
How's it
excited.
gotten? Yeah.
I'm very excited. It's a big project.
Uh-huh.
I'm so excited. I think that it will really enhance the township. I'm excited to work with all these different groups that I never really had the opportunity to work with before. Working with Tom all the time, I'm learning so much. It's been an amazing opportunity.
That is great, and you are doing an amazing
Oh,
job.
thank you.
Really,
Thank
really
you.
good. This is,
Concur.
it is huge.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it just seems like it keeps getting bigger and bigger every day.
It is evolving.
Yes, it is totally
It is,
evolving.
isn't it?
So we'll probably have to come back in about a year.
Yes.
And talk about all the changes and everything that's happened.
Yeah.
And what's still going to be happening. But I don't know if they'll be that much visible yet because we'll probably still be waiting for a lot of permits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank
This has
you.
been a great show and it's a great project. Thank you for watching Greenable Woodbridge and for being part of the change and part of the excitement. And this really is excitement. Thank you.